1071 WTJN. Good morning. I'm Clint Myers on Troy Community Radio. Saturday morning programming is brought to you by Outlook Financial. And we'll get going here with Mayor Beamish and the Mayor's Report. Good morning.
And we are here, and gosh, it's good to see you, Clint and David, and it's good to have out there the listening audience that is looking for the things to do here in Troy, Ohio.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, as every day ticks on now, I've noticed that we've got sunshine earlier in the morning, and we're just getting closer to spring.
I keep thinking spring.
I think everybody's been thinking spring, especially with some of the crazy weather. And then the wind that we just had this past weekend, that was some crazy gust.
You know, we had a lot of branches go down, but to my knowledge, we didn't have any major limbs going down or trees going down. And
That's
so
good.
Even with all that high wind, we were blessed.
For sure. Something else that went on over the weekend, we got to talk a little bit about it on Saturday morning, but it was Taste of Trivia night.
Well, yeah, I was a part of that, and we had a team. Team Troy was in that. We believe we had a top 10 finish. We were very happy with that. The event was a wonderful way of networking. And there's a full house in there. Nicole worked hard to prepare the questions of the day.
She's doing such a great job with Main Street.
She is a very creative young lady, and but more than that, we had all these vendors, those people from our downtown community that participated and provided different kinds of foodstuffs, and so it was a really wonderful evening. Win or lose, I think people walked out there feeling like this was a fun night, well, and I have a feeling it's going to continue.
That's what makes everyone feel like a winner.
That's right.
When it comes off like that, and it's a good time, and to have all the downtown businesses that participated in it, and the restaurants too, so you got to try some of their food.
That's right. I mean, it was a good time. And then over the weekend, we had the Home and Garden show.
That's right.
At the Hobart Arena. I mean, there were things. It seems like it doesn't matter what season. We do try to provide opportunities for people to get out and about and see some of our treasures and see some of the events that take place throughout the year here in Troy, Ohio.
All right. I don't think we can say it any better than that.
Thank you.
Hey, you were also busy this week with some subcommittee meetings.
Well, and the reason I bring that up is because we had some subcommittees of council. They meet. They're organized by President Marty Baker, and they meet to really do a preview of the things that might come up on full council, which we'll talk about. And some of these things are issues that take a lot of discernment, a lot of due diligence in processing, and so I wanted to share, kind of whet the appetite for the upcoming council meeting, but some of them are pretty basic. Give an example of one of them is we had at the last council meeting a public hearing of a business that wanted to go from a zoning M2 to an industrial PD, which is a planned development. And we had no pros or con comments at the last council, so the subcommittee, which is the Community and Economic Development Committee led by Chairman Twist, and had Mr. Kendall and Mr. Swayzer on that committee. They just quickly reviewed that recommendation from Planning Commission, and it provides some additional, as I understand, an additional storage area, and so that moved on. That'll move on to full council on the Monday council meeting.
Okay.
The other things that are pretty, every 3 years we look at our recycling efforts and who could provide those recycling efforts. Obviously, Rumpke's been doing that, but their contract expires in May, and so we need to go out for bids for curbside recycling. And that'll be done. Now, market changes. We don't know what the cost would be, but we're saying not to exceed $400,000, and that'll come before full council.
Okay.
I should say, on that same night, we will be announcing our next Recycling Award winner. These are people in our community who have demonstrated recycling efforts, and we try to honor those folks. And so we will be doing that on March 4th. The other one that was pretty routine and passed by the subcommittee to the full council unanimously was the Enterprise Zone Tax Incentive Review Committee met, and they are recommending that enterprise zone agreements, there's 3 of them, that are in full compliance, both employment and with expansion investment. And then also our town park TIF, they call it TIF, but that's a tax increment financing plan. Been very profitable for us in Troy and still continues to be that. And the subcommittee heard that discussion, and they will move with a positive to full council, recommendation to full council. The biggest item, and took the longest,
I bet I know where you're going with this one.
I bet you know that. Is again, and I think people need to understand the efforts that are being made to look at the parking issues of downtown Troy. And, I don't know if we're ever going to satisfy everybody, because everybody has a certain opinion. And it proved out in the subcommittee, which is the Streets and Sidewalks Committee, where Bobby Phillips is the chair, and Mr. Heath and Mr. Lutz are on that subcommittee. The interesting thing is all the 3 of them have different views of what.
Gotcha.
We had a consultant come forward, and he presented recommendations. I sat there, I listened, as everybody that was there on council listened. And I think, we don't really have an actual parking problem. You can find places to park.
Right.
It's how long somebody stands or sits or parks in one spot. And that becomes the issue. So it's, some say 2 hours, some say free, some say 15 minutes, some say 4 hours. So that's still debatable, and there's a lot of discussion yet to take place. A lot of people came forward, shared their opinions, which is good. That's why we have 2 ears. We listen to both sides, and council is going to be down the road having to make a decision, realizing that after listening, I don't know if everybody's going to be pleased, but I will tell everyone, that council has used both ears to listen, and now they have to take all that information, process it, and make what they feel is the best decision for the future of the downtown Troy area.
All right.
And that was pretty lengthy. I think you'll see Troy Main Street weigh in on this. I think you'll see a lot of discussion yet to be discussed.
Well, I know Bill had said it was a very well-attended meeting.
It was a well-attended meeting. That's good. That's good. But I just want to offer that, people say sometimes council does not listen. Well, listening is a two-way street. I mean, you got 2 ears, and you're listening to one side, you might listen to another view on another side, and they have to process. And I will say that this subcommittee and council and as a whole, really, when they make their decision, they've made it with a lot of consideration and due diligence. And this is a good example of how that process is working. So, somewhere down the road, there'll be a decision on what's the best
attack plan for this.
For the downtown.
But kind of like you said, with the 3 people on the committee, and all 3 of them even have different views. And then it's about everybody working together and coming up with the best, well-balanced plan
right.
for everyone.
Right.
It isn't going to be 100% this way or 100. It has to work for everyone.
And change is hard.
Right.
I mean, whatever comes up, it's going to be difficult. But after you make those right adjustments, and the only thing I keep saying is I sat there like everybody else and listened, and you get all these different views of what might be the best fit. And council then has to decision, as well as the administrative team, because they'll make a recommendation as well. What's in the best interest for our future of our downtown? Everybody's heard me say, I'm a big downtown believer that it's the living room of your community. We want our guests, our visitors, our own community citizens to come down and have a good experience.
Well, like you say, it's our living room downtown.
Thank you. That's the way I look at it.
So if we're going to invite people over to our house.
So I don't know what that'll come about on full council. I don't think there'll be quick decisions on that as everybody was listening to different opinions.
I think there will be a lot of thought put into it before.
Right.
So probably a few more meetings to get this one up.
I leave it to their discretion, but I do know that they're really working hard to try to find the best fit.
Look forward to seeing what we have to look forward to here in the downtown. You have council on Monday.
Yeah, we've kind of hidden it around that. Yes, council, March 4th. March 4th.
I know.
It just seems like this whole time's flying by, but on March 4th, 7 o'clock, Troy City Hall, we will have our regular Monday council meeting. And so hopefully people will either tune in or come and listen to what the council discusses and quite possibly votes on.
Just as you said that council's back on track, I'm thinking over this past week, I don't want to say it's the first, but I think this is the first full week that we will have had that we didn't have something horrid in the weather that delayed school or made the roads impassable. So hopefully this is a good sign that we are headed towards spring.
We did have those high winds, and I was holding my breath, and but luckily we got through that. And you're right, we got through a week of non-event weather.
Well, let's see if we can do that again, and for a few more weeks till we get to spring. Now, as we head into March is Developmental Disabilities Month.
It's every March we highlight the month of awareness for developmental disabilities. We're very blessed in our community to have Riverside, Miami County, and they are a developmental disabilities agency. Doing great things to provide services to all those who have a disability. And so I, for one, just want to honor Riverside for their efforts, but also mention to everybody it is a month where we can really look back, and all of us have skills. But many of us have a disability as well, and so it's a chance for us to remember that we're all in the same world.
Oh, absolutely.
And we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, but it's nice to have agencies trying to help everybody to be the best they can be. And so a big shout out to Riverside for what they do to help all.
Well, they help everyone be a part of the community.
That's right.
And to do their part. I think that's wonderful.
We honor that, but it's every month that they work hard.
All right, well said. Mayor, is there anything else that you can think that we had in here this morning?
I'll end with Think Spring.
Think Spring. I like that. This has been the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN.